La, 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 la.
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
Hello, I'm Des Clark, and this is the best of Unbroadcast Breaking the News. It's an end-of-year treat where I'll bring you clips from the show that didn't quite make the edit the first time around. Think of it like coming to a live recording where you get to hear bloopers, tangents, and things we can broadcast now because our lawyers on their Christmas holiday. Here's a flavour of what we've got coming up.
They've made a mistake. I'm going to point this out.
Literally anything that they say out of a motor.
Mascara or streaky, the beehive was bouffing because the rain had been houfing.
Aye, that's what they'll be wanting. A woman from England.
I don't quite understand the science behind it. I'm no scientician, okay? That's not what I am.
Tell you what, it was awfully muggy yesterday, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? You know how hard it is to get a sticker on a cat? It is hard.
Let's kick things off with Marjolaine Robertson, Neil Delamere and Ignacio Lopez, all discussing the potential financial benefits of a new energy pipeline between Scotland and England. Do you think this will help grow Scotland's economy, Marjolaine?
I think a good way to grow the economy is by personal wealth. Hear me out.
Okay.
So when I went to university down here in Edinburgh, my dad was like, Marjolaine, do you pay for your electricity with a coin machine? Because my dad is 105 years old. And my dad told me that when he was at university in Edinburgh, they had this machine where it ran out of money and then they'd be in the dark trying to find a coin to put in the coin machine. Wow. But he said one day they realised that there was one light that always remained on and it was in the airing cupboard. And that was connected to the upstairs flat, which happened to be their landlord. So they rewired all the lights. And I think that that's a good way to increase our wealth is by taking it from the landlord. Peace. Thank you. That's me.
Neil, what do you think? Do you think this is actually going to help grow Scotland's economy?
I do, because I think this is not just the end, this is the start. There's loads of these cables being going to be laid. The next one is from Kinghorn, which is not very far away from here, and it's going to go to Norfolk, apparently. That's the next one. Now, we are not going to do that stereotypical inbred 6 fingers in each hand jokes that just because that cable ends in Norfolk when the other end ends up in Fife. But I do think that this could be the start of something, you know?
Absolutely.
I also like the phrase coin machine.
Yeah.
Meter is what people used to call it.
Ignacio, do you think this will help grow Scotland's economy?
I've got no idea, guys, to be honest. I think, I don't
Neither do we.
Yeah, I don't know a great deal about any economy. I've said this previously, but do not ask a Spanish person for financial advice, all right? I don't know if it's going to help the economy. I don't quite understand the science behind it. I'm no scientician, okay? That's not what I am.
There you are, scientician and expert Ignacio Lopez there. I think there should be a pipeline between Scotland and England, but for culture rather than energy. We'll send down amazing comedy, art and music, and they could send up, Ant and Dec. Anyway, next it's Joe Caulfield, Connor Burns, Stuart Mitchell and Amy Matthews on what it's like using a taxi as a comedian.
And I remember before I moved up to Scotland, getting a taxi in Glasgow to the comedy club at the Stand. And it's just that, and it's that very sort of deadpan Scottish way. So I'm sitting in the back and we get to the Stand and he said to me, and he's chatting all the way, very Glasgow, chat. And I like it because I like the chat, even though I was sober maybe. And then he said to me, he goes, oh, what's it on? It's a comedy night. And I said, oh yeah. And he said, is it good? And I said, well, I can't really say because I'm one of the comedians, so I couldn't really comment on that. And it was just a really slow, deadpan way. He looked at me in the rearview mirror and went, aye, that's what they'll be wanting. A woman from England. So you think they'll like me?
Particularly in Glasgow, I think it should be illegal if you tell the taxi driver that you're a comedian. Because every taxi I've ever been in, they always go, I've had Kevin Bridges in this.
Yeah.
not statistically possible. He must be the best travelled man in the world. But also, maybe the only profession is comedian where if you tell a taxi driver, they tell you about a time they had a more well-known one in the car. Like, imagine he's like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a doctor. I've had Harold Shipman.
I always think it's funny when you go in and they say, oh, where have you been tonight? And you're thinking, no, surely I should be telling you where I'm going.
Makes sense. Amy, what about you? What would you do to enrich the taxi experience?
I always tend to get in a taxi when my social battery is at 0. So I think what I'd like to do is just submit a list of stock answers to the driver so he could choose from, yes, that is my actual job. Yes, Michael McIntyre is very good, isn't he? No, they're not taking our jobs. I'm talking to you at your job now. We've always had pronouns. That's a lovely picture of your son, but could you please keep your eyes on the road? But it says you do take card on the window. Anywhere here is great, thanks.
That is every
Covers
night
all
out.
bases.
I love that, Amy. Connor, what about you? We're talking about taxis. What would you do to enrich the taxi experience?
Well, you know how now you can get the Uber pool, which is where you can get in with other passengers at the same time. I think the commute is boring, so I think it'd be good if you got in an Uber pool and then one of yous on the Uber app randomly got the power to hit an ejector seat. Because then it would just be like, the chat would have to be really of a high standard. If you knew, like, oh, if I had to tell a joke here and it lands flat, I'm going straight through the roof here.
That's pressure, isn't it?
That's good. I think
Kevin Bridges never got shot at. Personally, I'd be a terrible taxi driver because I'm really bad at measuring distances. Well, I couldn't read the meter. Get it? Meter? Oh, dear. No, that's an awful joke. That's a disgrace. Who wrote that? Get them out of the building. Anyway, up next is a clip from Breaking the News stalwart Scotland's premier blind comedian Jamie MacDonald. I asked Jamie what big reveal we might find if he ever wrote a memoir. Jamie, just imagine the book of your life is out there. What's the big reveal?
It's all been a sick joke. I've got 20/20 vision.
Can you imagine, mate? If all of this was a ruse.
Just me with a cute, spinning my car keys, just draped over my Porsche. Got ya.
The legend that is Sir Andy Murray retired this year, and we were lucky to have the less than legendary Duncan Murray make an appearance on the show. Duncan is, of course, Andy's lesser-known brother, so I picked his brain on what he thinks the tennis star should do next. Your brother Andy is retiring, Duncan. What should he do next?
Yeah, he's hanging up the racket, but give him another racket to air traffic control. I just think... Perfect. But also, yeah, a lot of people remark on his voice, and so I've told him I think he should go into sleep stories. And it would be perfect. He could just talk about some of the boring, like, oh, you're just off after a 5-set match with Nadal. You're really tired. Your mum's sitting next to you in your bed, running her hand through your hair. It's time for sleep. That, just, normal type of stuff.
Oh, Andy, we love you. And Duncan, stop calling me. In the next clip, Ashley Story and Amy Matthews ponder where Vladimir Putin might go to find some support around the world. And Ashley's proposal is quite surprising. Ashley, Vladimir Putin is travelling around looking for friends, allies and support. Where is Vlad going to go next?
Well, with all of his Botox and high lifestyle, Love Island. Vladimir's going in the pool! That's my Ian Sterling impersonation. It's uncanny.
I do think, however, if he was in Love Island and everyone got a text alert at the same time,
might cause widespread panic.
It would, but do you know what? You know how he's mean? Yeah. Do you know who's meaner than Vladimir Putin? The women who go in Love Island. He will feel so small by the end of that week. When he doesn't get picked at the recoupling ceremony, ho ho ho, he'll be fuming. That buffet will be a danger to all.
Now, have you ever said something you wish you hadn't? For example, presuming a person's age, maybe mindlessly commenting on someone's outfit, or in my case, yes, I will host this year's Best of Unbroadcast. Well, that's just the question I put to Mark Jennings and Elaine Malcolmson.
Mark, what do you think? Have you ever said something that you wish you hadn't? If so, what was it and why?
I was in a bookshop and I was looking at the psychology section, and the bookkeeper came up to me and asked me if I needed help, and I tried to kind of impress him and look smart, so I said to him, "Oh yeah, if you get anything by Carol Jung," which turns out is not how you pronounce that. And I was just glad that I never followed up with my other request, which was to ask him if he had the autobiography of Malcolm Kiss.
As of course Malcolm 10. Have you ever said something you wish you hadn't? What was it and why?
I'm sure it'll be fine. It's only a couple of days out of date. That question made me nervous because I felt that you were going to produce a list.
In a moment, you'll hear what Marilyn Robertson does to relax, and Mark Nelson tells us about a time when he put his foot down. First, though, Neil Delamere comes up with a better way of asking political questions.
While we're on it, right? Do you know when any sort of minister is standing outside Downing Street and then they walk into Downing Street and all the journalists shout stuff like, Chancellor, is this a typical Labour budget? They always shout out questions that are easy to ignore when they're getting their attention. Shout out something really weird that makes them stop. Yeah. Minister, Chancellor, should lifts be called lifts because it's only half of what they do?
Even elevator is one-sided.
Like an elevator.
It's a descender as well.
Exactly. Now, oddly enough, for a joke about lifts, we're on the same level.
Yeah.
Marilyn, what about you? How do you switch off?
I like to just do like a nice ambient environment where I will light a scented candle, put on some comfy sweats, a t-shirt, like open a bottle of something, usually a spirit, pour a nice drink, and then rip the bottom of my t-shirt off and put it down the bottle and light the end of it with the candle. And then we've got Molotov cocktail. And if you don't believe me, what do you think I genuinely did in the evenings during lockdown?
No one's questioning that. Not a single person.
The only time we didn't use the vodka for a Molotov cocktail is when it got so cold in Shetland, all of my plumbing froze over and we had to pour vodka down the sink to get the water going again. So there was no entertainment that night, I'll tell you.
I bet the plumber, when they came about a month later, just fixing, whoa.
Our plumber's got a straw.
I know, I was like, do not smoke near that septic tank.
Tell you what, that is the best public information film I've ever heard from the 1970s.
Mark, I'll come to you in this. Can you tell us about a time where you put your foot down?
Well, I did it recently. We were on holiday a couple of weeks ago, me and my wife and my two kids. And I'm not a person, I don't like confrontation at all. And I don't like any kind of, like if stuff happens in a restaurant, a lot of people will rightly complain. And I normally let stuff slide. But I was on holiday and I thought, I'm not having this because the bill came back and we on the bill was 2 margaritas, right? And I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And I said to the guy over, I was like, why are you charging us for 2 margaritas? First of all, I have my children with me and I have the car. So the thought that I would drive them home is ridiculous. Also, my wife doesn't drink that much. I want these 2 margaritas taken off immediately. And they massively apologised just as I saw the kids' pizza plates getting taken away. And I was
You also heard Robin Ince and Christopher MacArthur Boyd in there. Now, after lots of rumour and speculation about when it would be called, Rishi Sunak finally stepped out into the rain and announced there was to be a general election. And if this is the first you're hearing of this, congratulations. I envy you. You should also be made aware that we call Opal Fruit Starburst now, and they're still making Big Brother. It's just on ITV now. I know, no, me neither. With the election looming large in 2024, here are some political clips from June and July. Shortly, Susie McCabe has a look at Sir Keir Starmer's cabinet and Sam Lake talks debate. But first, I think Roscoe McClelland might be very easily influenced. We are marching towards the general election just a couple of weeks' time, but what would it take to get your vote?
Literally anything that they say out of a motor through a big speaker. I've not seen them in years, man. What happened to them? They're great. They're like the exact opposite fun levels of an ice cream van. It's like the... Just say it out of a motor with a big speaker and I'll go, all right, you've got my vote. There you go.
Sam, what about you? We've had a lot of debates. Have any of them changed your mind?
Not really. I think the debates should be slightly more informative. I think the debates are only useful if you base your vote entirely based off of the jobs that the leaders' parents had. I love how they changed the profession of their parents to suit whatever the question from the audience is. Like, if someone works in NHS, he'll be like, oh yeah, my mum was a nurse, or, oh yeah, my dad was a toolmaker, whatever that means. Or if someone's a fisherman, he'll be like, oh yeah, my mum was the boat in Jaws,
She got laid off, of course, because they needed a bigger boat.
It's a cost of living, yes.
On the Emily Thornberry thing, did you see the most passive-aggressive tweet ever? This was such a woman thing to do. This is exactly what it was. She was like, after 8.5 unbroken years in the shadow cabinet, a longer record of service than anyone else in that time, I've always worked my hardest to keep the Labour Party united, support our candidates across the country and take the fight to the Tories and put a positive case to the British people about what I would do differently, and I'm very sorry and surprised. She honestly sounded like a mother that had been snubbed by her daughter-in-law. No, I'm delighted. She said a lovely Christmas, and I've had a lovely Christmas myself. I wasn't waiting for a card or a present.
You're listening to the best of Unbroadcast Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Coming up, Josie Long on Small Talk and Stuart Mitchell talks artificial intelligence. But talking now is Andrew Maxwell with some career advice. It's a lot of talk, isn't there? Andrew Maxwell, final thoughts on this. What would be your advice for Scottish students?
Absolutely. Study theology. It's very low points, and within 5 years, you could be the moderator of the Church of Scotland. That's a hell of a gig. I tell you what, there's some beautiful manses around this country. You want your kids to grow up in a manse? And I tell you, there's not an unlovely manse in the land.
You're right.
Just think about that, right? As long as you can discuss golf, right, and keep the manse nice and tidy, you're in.
Well, they're trying to make the civil service more productive. One of them, for instance, is efficiency through greater use of NHS artificial intelligence. But it doesn't work, because last week I got an invite for my smear test. To be honest, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Josie, what about you? Are you surprised to hear this, that we don't like small talk as much as we used to?
Oh, no, Des. What about you?
Well... Going anywhere nice on holidays?
I am actually. We're over to Maliniona. What do you think about that this time of year?
Oh, it's nice and pleasant, and you get a good ice cream.
I tell you what about the weather today? It wasn't raining this morning, was it?
Oh, it seems that everyone else in the UK is getting this heat wave, but we're getting like...
Yeah, we're not getting it, but I tell you what, it was awfully muggy yesterday, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? That's what I call quite close.
Oh, it was close. Oh, it was that close. I thought to myself, am I in the Algarve?
Oh, Neil, what about you? When do you most feel like where you're from?
I went on a stag party to Barcelona, and I didn't want to go on the stag party, and I didn't really know anybody on the stag party, and the two people I did know were idiots, but I had to go because it was my stag party. We were going to go to Barca FC, and when we got there, we were given the travel agent said you have to go in on other people's normal season tickets. So I'm pretty sure I can't pass for a very swarthy, handsome Spanish man. I'm 100% sure I can't pass for Teresa Martinez, a 44-year-old mother of two. So 14 lads who'd been out drinking the night before turned up. 7 of us in Munster jerseys.
No.
Turned up, and I've never seen lads drunker, and I've never seen lads more Irish. One of the lads got sunburnt in between the door of the taxi and the boot of the taxi.
A highlight of the Breaking the News calendar is stopping off at the Edinburgh Festivals, where this year we were joined by Kiwi comic Melanie Bracewell. As this blooper shows, Melanie is new to the show, so when she points out what she thinks is a mistake, her teammate Connor Burns is very supportive.
Graham Day is the Minister for Higher and Further Education.
He came in 10th in what was an incredibly tight field.
Well, there we go.
I think I've got it.
Melanie's got to go for it.
I think you've accidentally played the same audio twice.
That's exactly what's happened. There we go. Bonus points for you. So what do we think the second story in the mashup might be? Any thoughts? Melanie?
Oh, that wasn't it. I don't get the game.
I didn't have the heart to tell you there.
No, it's fine. We're trying to play along with your smugness, but... no, you had to go...
Oh my God, they've made a mistake. I'm going to point this out. No, absolutely. I've just misunderstood the game. Over to you, Connor.
Oh, right, Connor. In an unscripted moment, Connor, what are you thinking might be the second story there?
I reckon Melanie's got this covered. No.
Hosting the show, I get the chance to meet some amazing people, often celebrities. Not to drop any names, but I've actually met some Scottish showbiz royalty. Don't want to be indiscreet, but let's just say they're on the telly every Hogmanay. Everyone knows who they are, and if you're in Edinburgh at the right time, you might just catch them. It's the 1 o'clock gun from Edinburgh Castle. She's lovely and much taller than she looks on TV. However, Gareth Waugh's interaction with the legendary Lulu was not all as it appears.
I met Lulu at a charity gig once. We were doing this charity thing, and we all had like separate dressing rooms, and I was in my one, and I had a pizza. And then I went to like the shower room, and when I came out, Lulu was sat in my dressing room eating my pizza. And I was like, hello? And she was like, what are you doing here? And I went, what are you doing here? And then she basically was like getting really irate with me. And I was like, that's also my food as well. Like, it really, do you know what? It made me want to shout. I've never met Lulu.
In a moment, Felicity Ward has some travel advice. But first, here's Billy Kirkwood with an award for himself. What do you deserve an award for and why?
Cats don't come in our garden anymore because I put stickers on them and send them home. So they're going back to their houses with not my cat, usually a dirty word on it. Get to, and that's all it says.
Wow. Like misdirected post Ayrshire style.
You know how hard it is to get a sticker on a cat? It is hard.
What I will say is do your research before you go anywhere. I went to the Canary Islands where there's some protests. I went to Fuerteventura, and 3 days in, I said to another hotel guest, oh my God, it's so windy here. When do you think the wind will go away? And he said, do you know what Fuerteventura means? And I said, no. And he said, it means strong wind. So I will say, do a Google.
Yes. Something a wee bit different for you now. After a chat about this year's Turner Prize winner, I asked Scott Agnew and his teammate Athena Cook-Blenu when they feel at their most artistic, with some surprising results. When have you been at your most artistic, Scott?
I told you I came over, mate. Recently, I genuinely don't know. I've started writing poetry. I have. Do you want? Right, I'm going to read. Here's a world I've never done. I'm going to read you a poem, right?
Wow.
Okay. Poem, right.
Go for it.
That's what. Right. I'll just do this.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the question at all. It's just because I was like, I could write one about the Turner Prize, and then I thought I'm not getting paid enough. So it's called The Dancing, right? She had a lovely frock with flowers on. It looked fabulous in front of the festoons. She fancied herself and her chances for getting a fella as well. The rouge she wore was radiant like a fire engine racing to the scene. It was rare for her to wear it, but she was feeling racy and wanted to be seen. She had battled with her beehive and battered it till it behaved, bundled high into the sky, the beehive which caught her guy's eye. For she arrived at the dancing Drucket and dangerously damp. It was just glanced at her quickly. He'd have sworn she was a tramp. Stilettos or stoggy, mascara or streaky, the beehive was bowfing because the rain had been houfing. But through the showers he saw her smile, he thought to himself, they should talk a while. Are you dancing? Are you asking? There we go.
Ah,
But I don't think that's going to take off, so...
Oh, that was a lovely bit of poetry there from Scott. Do you know what? I've actually got my own poem here, if you don't mind. There once was a man from Kirkcaldy who wanted a beautiful body. He went to work out and gave it some clout, and now he ain't looking so shoddy. Talking about Gordon Brown. Shortly, Chris Forbes praises all things Paisley, but now Ian Smith on ways to make new friends.
You've got to do other things to get friends. I've joined a running club because I want to run the marathon. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. So I joined the running club. It's the saddest way to meet new people because I'm not very good at running. So what you do is you have a group of people and then they all run away from you. And you have to follow them going, come back!
My favourite thing about Paisley right now is that I've seen some of the redevelopment and some of the reuses of spaces that are slowly being left defunct. And the most thrilling one for me personally right now is that Fury Murray's, a nightclub in Paisley, has now reopened. I don't know if anyone's been there, as Furry Murray's. It's a children's soft play. And it is so funny taking my 2.5-year-old there. She's thrown up in the ball pit. I'm like, I was there as well. But, you know, it was a toilet and it was vodka Red Bull. So it's so surreal being in the same space, but with a toddler. It's amazing.
Comedian Robin Ince paid us a visit earlier this year, and when he offered to tell one of Barry Cryer's old jokes, I was more than happy to oblige.
Can I do one joke, like a joke? Because I know I'm the oldest person here, right? So I feel like I'm taking the Barry Cryer role, right? Just before we came on, I was thinking about the last gig that I ever did with Barry Cryer and the last joke he ever told me, right? So if you're okay, I don't know, as you know, I'm not like a joke person.
Yeah.
But so the vicar is going to do a talk at the Women's Institute about sex, but he's just put in his diary WI. His wife looks through the diary. She goes, "Oh, you're doing a WI talk on Tuesday. What's that about?" He gets a bit embarrassed. He says, "Sailing. I'm doing a talk about sailing." She goes, "Okay, sailing." Oh. Anyway, the next week she's in the greengrocers and a woman comes up and says, "You're married to the vicar." She goes, "Yes, I am." She said, "Can I just say, I was at his WI talk the other week. It was the most amazing talk I have ever heard. I've never learnt so much." And she went, "Oh, that's a bit weird because he's only done it twice." First time he was sick, the second time his hat blew off. So there you go. I love jokes.
That's just about it from me and the best of Unbroadcast Breaking the News for 2024. I hope you've enjoyed hearing it for the first time. The Euros took the nation by storm in 2024, so when England reached the final, I asked Jo Caulfield if she would be watching.
Jo, England in another final. Great tournament for them after a shaky start. Up against Spain in the Euros. I take it you'll be watching, and I would presume you're supporting England?
Well, they're not my team. If Ireland win, I'd support Ireland, and then Wales. I was born in Wales. But weirdly, we have 2 mates coming up from London. They didn't realise that it would be on then. They're real hardcore Chelsea and England fans, and they're coming. And my husband said, "Oh, I'll take you to a pub in Leith to watch it. It'll be fine." I'm really going to enjoy this.
They are not coming home.
The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye.